My name is Basant Maheshwari from Western Sydney University. And namaste, good morning to all in India and good afternoon to those in Australia. Dams for Life, managing their safety and risk for sustainable water futures, exploring the crucial role of dams in our water futures. So this is a 4-part series from Western Sydney University and Australia-India Water Centre. And this project is supported by Australian Water Partnership, part of Department of Foreign Affairs and Trades, in collaboration with the DRIP program. Good to see you all here again for this, our third in the webinar series. If you have seen the past 2 webinars, we addressed several important matters associated with dam operations. The first webinar focused on risk and asset management. The second one was on managing flood risk for communities and importance of communication and inclusion when making decisions associated with dam management. This is the third in the series whereby we will hear from experts from both India and Australia about the importance of a regulator's perspective on dam safety. So we'll hear from, first of all, from the colleague from Central Water Commission talking about Dam Safety Act in India and related aspects. And then we have colleagues from Dam Safety New South Wales, where they will discuss the Australian regulators' perspective on dam management and how they work hand in hand with dam managers. And then finally, we'll have a Q&A section, question and answer session. So once again, thank you for joining us on this important journey. So very warm welcome here. So I would like to request you or Dr. Raj from the World Bank to make some opening remarks.
Thank you, Professor Basant, and thanks to the entire AWP team and New South Wales Dam Safety team, Judy, for making this happen. The last 2 webinar has been a big hit. And there were a lot of interest generated in the DRIP. And as a team leader from the World Bank side, it's a very interesting, exciting for me to learn, our people getting excited about new things, learning and trying to implement in the dams they are managing. Today is a very important topic, talking about institutions, policy, regulation, which India is currently facing. They have just passed on a very robust Dam Safety Act, and they are in the situation where they need to transform their institution for implementing the Dam Safety Act. So today's webinar will be very good and very exciting for our colleagues from the states. And we look forward to hearing from Chris and Jason. And we also have Mr. Bakshi that he will also explain about the journey of the Indian dam safety policy over there. The role of the World Bank, to be precise, is sort of a knowledge broker. We try to link many experts like the New South Wales, Western Sydney University with our, with our dam engineers in India, where they can learn and talk about new technologies and implement in their dams. So with this, I again welcome everybody and thanks to the Australian Water Partnership for sponsoring this. Thank you, and over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Raj. I now invite Mr. Sarbjit Bakshi, Director, Central Water Commission, who will discuss the Dam Safety Act and related aspects in India. So just background, Mr. Bakshi is working on the implementation of Dam Safety Act 2021 throughout the country, and the implementation of Dam Rehabilitation Improvement Project called DRIP in 19 states covering 736 large dams. Also, he's working on capacity and institutional building in dam safety areas. He is also involved in establishing the International Center of Excellence for Dams at IIT Roorkee and IISc Bangalore. So over to you, Bakshi ji.
Thank you, Professor. Good afternoon to all my friends in Australia, and good morning to everybody in this part in India. So, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me to share my views on this Dam Safety Act in the Indian perspective and what all we are doing at the national level. Thank you. I just gave a brief introduction, overview of this dam safety in India. So next, can we have a next slide, please? As I have just tried to give a account of where India stands in the world, we have more than 6,000 dams. When I say more than 6,000, these are the large dams we have defined is, I mean, higher than 15 meters. There is a definition of the specified dams in this Dam Safety Act. So it covers the dams which are higher than 15 meters from the deepest foundation level, or if it is between 10 to 15 meters with an additional condition like we have a storage of 1 mcm, or the spillway breast length more than 500, or the discharge, I mean design discharge is more than 2000 cubics. So these dams we have categorized as a large dams, and we have come out with the National Register of Large Dams. We have compiled the inventory of the dams, I mean, listing their features also and the locations where they are located in the states. So a compiled volume has been prepared at the national level, which is called the National Register of Large Dams. And if we go by it, we see these specified dams, 70% are more than 25 years old, and around 200 dams are more than 100 years old. So these dams are still functioning. I mean, though in India, these were the areas which were most neglected due to some odd reasons by the states. But now the things are in place, and earlier also there were certain measures which were being taken in throughout the country, because but they were not a unified sort of procedure which we required throughout the country, because we have so many states. All the states are the owners of the dam. So every state has its own criteria, its own logistics, its own management, and its own, I mean, theory to attend to these dams. So we could find that there was a lot of discrepancy in all these when we compiled the data at the national level. So it was felt to have a legislation in the country so that every state is mandated to certain aspects which need to take care of these important dams. Next slide, please. Now with the changing, I mean, climate change effect is also coming. We are seeing in the Himalayan regions, there are many increased cases of glacial lake outbursts, which are, I mean, which were not catered for the dams which were constructed, I mean, 30, 40 years before. This phenomena was not taken into account, and there was, because of this climate change also, intensity of rainfall. I mean, these all have a huge impact on the inflows coming, which were not catered at that stage of the designs in the older parts. So we need to, I mean, make these dams resilient, or to take care of such events which give you no time, rather, to avoid the any havoc on the downstream side. Next slide, please. So this is the data which I have compiled. There have been 41 dam failures reported through 1950 till now. And the most important part, what I could come out is the failures involved newly built dams. The dams which failed, they failed during the first 10 years of the commissioning. So this was something which had attracted our attention towards it, so that we need to improve the construction technology, the management, or the monitoring of this construction during the construction stages. Next slide. So this is what I was talking, dam safety, why a priority concern for India. There has been deferred maintenance of some of these dams, because these are the dams which were mostly built for the irrigation purposes, and till the time they were serving this purpose of irrigation, these were neglected. I mean, when it comes to the maintenance, and everybody had, I mean, this concept that it is a dam, it will stay for 100 years there, so no maintenance or certain thing is required, and whatever the revenue what we generated was being spent on the canals to maintain that the flows go to the climate change also now had extreme hydrological events as I talked earlier. And there was one another part that state or dam owners have not been able to provide sufficient budgets for O&M of the dams. So there is a water resources department which gets the funds in the state budget, but it is not allocated exclusively for the dams. So here is where we lag in the maintenance of the dams. Next slide, please. Having said all this, there has been number of initiatives by the government of India in the dam safety. Right in the 1979, when we had a major failure of Machu Dam in Gujarat, this dam safety organization was created at the central level. So majority, I mean, this organization had to set the protocols with all the state governments to bring them at the common platform, and we can share all the protocols, all the guidelines for maintenance and providing technical assistance to all the states. Then in National Committee on Dam Safety was also set up in 1987. This was with the same intention to have a unified and simplified dam procedures. Then we had dam rehabilitation programs, and now recently we got Dam Safety Act, which is a very comprehensive act which covers all the aspects: how the dam is to be maintained, the monitoring of the dams, the fund allocations. I mean, it is a very exhaustive, providing the national and state level infrastructure also, the institutional setup, what we exactly require to take care of our dams in a very effective manner. Next slide, please. Now, this institutional setup, what I was talking is the Dam Safety Act provides two national level, I mean, authorities or the committees, and two at the state levels. One is the National Committee on the Dam Safety. This is the supreme committee which takes these dam safety policies and recommends necessary regulations to maintain the dam safety standards. Then there is a National Dam Safety Authority. It is a statutory body which is the main aim, I mean, objective for setting up it. This is executing body. So it will give directions to all the states to follow certain guidelines evolved by the NCDS, the manner in which these dams have to be maintained, or whatever things are required for the safety and upkeep of this dam. Then on the similar basis, in all the states, we have created State Committee on Dam Safety and the State Dam Safety Organization. This State Committee on Dam Safety has to supervise the works of the State Dam Safety Organization and to review the measures and recommended relations, I mean, all policies in these states. And whereas the State Dam Safety Organization, this is the organization created in every state, which will take care of all the works to be carried out on the states. Then there is another entity, Dam Safety Unit. This we have created for each specified dam for operation and maintenance establishment. Each dam will have a set of engineers. This is also very categorically defined whosoever will be in this dam safety unit, what will be the qualifications of the engineers, what level of engineers, who is going to head. I mean, all these things are very, I mean, critically defined in this act. That is why I say this act is a very comprehensive, covering each and every aspect, bringing the clarity and uniformity throughout the country. Next slide, please. Now I have just highlighted some of the provisions of the Dam Safety Act. So there are a number of sections. I mean, 54 sections are there in this Dam Safety Act, and each section provides, I mean, it has covered all the act, I mean, aspects of the dam safety management. What the best we can think of, like section 16 and 17, it talks about the surveillance, O&M. Section 18 and 28, it talks about how to maintain the logbook database in a well-documented manner. Till now, dam people were maintaining the database and logbooks, but they did not have the uniformity. Now we are going for a proper uniform, which we are circulating to all the states, and we are converting this manual database into a digital format. So every record shall be maintained at the each state level in the digital format for each of the dam. Then section 21, this is also, sorry, a major part, because funds were being allocated by the state government to the state departments, but they were not being diverted specifically for the maintenance of the dams. So we have come up with this to here the states governments are being directed to create a separate budget line for this dam. So the funds transferred, and they have to keep an adequate provision for the maintenance of the dams, and from this budget it will be exclusively used for the O&M of the dams. Then there is a section 22 which says talks about the technical documentation. What all documentations are to be required, how they are to be required, so that whenever a team visits or the experts visits, they should know the history of the dam also. Section 31, it very clearly specifies to carry out the inspections. We have a system that for each and every dam, there is a pre-inspection and a post-inspection. And before monsoon starts, there is a dam is inspected, and after that dam is again inspected to know the distress conditions and whatever the shortcomings, or wherever what are the areas which require immediate attention. So we have a very standard format for carrying out these inspections, a detailed questionnaire, so that which is circulated to all the states, and they can carry out the inspections, and then they submit the reports at the center level, where these are evaluated and directions are issued. They are categorized into category 1, 2, 3 sort of dams. Category 1 dams which require immediate attention. So the areas of these dams are pointed out, and for immediate attention is required, or there are certain areas where the repairs are to be carried out maybe in next 6 months. And then there is a third which fall the dams which fall in the category 3 require regular maintenance sort of things. Then section 32, this instrumentation part, this was after surveying all this, we had come to this conclusion that instrumentation was the area which was being mostly neglected. Instrumentation was carried out during the construction stage, but with the passage of the times, these instruments get stopped working, and these are not being repaired or replaced. So embedded instruments, we are to a certain extent helpless, but other instruments we need to be repaired and replaced at times. So this is the area where we are now putting up stress through DRIP program also, that all the dams should have minimum instrumentation also. Then we have section 27 and 36, that every dam should have an emergency action plan in place. And this is the most important section 35 and 38, where the act says that all the dams should have comprehensive dam safety evaluations. This we are now taking up, and this is the area where we require technical expertise, and we are short of it. So this is the area where we are with this government's initiative of the DRIP program. We are trying to develop the expertise in this area so that all the stakeholders can take advantage of this. Next slide, please. Dam safety rehabilitation, as I said, Government of India has already been there for initiating this dam safety rehabilitation programs. The first one was carried out in 91-98, Dam Safety Assurance and Rehabilitation Program, where 182 dams were rehabilitated. And then in the second phase, we had DRIP. This was a 10 years program, 2012 to 21. We had taken around 223 dams, which were repaired, which were tested. Their hydrology was revised, adequate measures were taken so that the dams could safely pass the design floods, instrumentation parts, repair parts, routing, lot of seepages problem we had seen. So these all were taken care of. So with this, it was a quite successful program with the association of the World Bank. Now we have entered into DRIP phase 2 and phase 3. This is also the largest dam rehabilitation initiative in India, where we are 19 states are participating in it, and we are targeting around 736 dams. So works are going on, and in this program, number of dams are being taken. Again, as I said, the hydrology is being reviewed. Necessary structural or non-structural measures are being adopted so as to make them pass this design flood safely. We are focusing on instrumentation part also, and other parts where it required repairs which the states were not able to carry it out due to paucity of funds and all. So this is being effectively taken over. And in this drip program, we have another, like what I said, this being a humongous task. I mean, maintaining 6,000 dams in a country is not an easy task. So we need to educate all the stakeholders. And that is where, through this program, we have a component of institutional strength. We are opening up like two centers, International Center of Dam Excellence have been opened, established, one at the IIT Roorkee, a prestigious university, and another also IIC Bangalore, Indian Institute of Sciences. Both are very prestigious universities where these centers are being established. They have been given mandate to carry out the research works in certain areas like sedimentation, earthquake, and innovative material for dam rehabilitation. Besides this, they also have a huge mandate to educate all the stakeholders through short-term and long-term courses, where we are going to provide the technical training to all these officers from the states who are really maintaining their dams. Wherever this academic, I mean, interference is required, their knowledge has to be brushed up so that they become self-sustained in the coming years. And because a huge manpower technical is not available right at this at the country level, we require to, I mean, these institutes will be helping all the states.
आ गया आ गया
And another center, as in this line, we are building up small resource centers also. Like MNIT, we have established. We have, I mean, shortlisted another colleges also in the different part of the countries, so that adjacent to that, I mean, 2 3 states can take, because it is not possible from north to south coming for the all this technical assistance. So these institutes, various IITs and NITs, have been identified, and they are being developed in the form of resource centers for typical subjects, maybe for sedimentations, some are working for hydrology, some are working, I mean, how to teach them the emergency action plan, the dam break modeling, the inundation maps, O&M manuals, operations, there's a rule curves. I mean, all these short-term and long-term courses are being conducted through various, I mean, organizations and institutes throughout the country. In this line, another, we have started 2 years master's course also in the IIC Bangalore and IIT Roorkee. So 84 students have been enrolled. First batch started in 2021, so they are out and all have been absorbed in very good industries and other areas. So results have been appreciated, and we are further trying to increase this type of courses in various universities in the coming years. Next slide. So as I said, the Dam Safety Act provides for comprehensive safety analysis of 6,000 dams in the 5 years. So it is such a Herculean task that it is difficult to carry out with the limited manpower. So we are also now shifting towards the risk assessment of the dams also. I mean, till now we used to consider that the highest dam with the uh, volume of the water stored behind it, I mean, qualifying, just relating with the vulnerability. Now, this approach has to be shifted towards the risk assessment of the approach. In this, we are going to carry out the risk assessment of the dams, each and every dam, and then we set the priority. So this will give us a database that, yes, first 100 dams which are most vulnerable need to be taken at the first stage for the risk assessment or the comprehensive study of the dams. The dams in the second and third priority, which may not pose higher risk as compared to the category 1, can be taken afterwards. So this is what I have tried to just explain what we think about the concept of risk assessment in dam. And this is the way we are now introducing this risk assessment into our concepts and educating the masses to go for it. Next slide, please. So why risk assessment? I'd like to highlight one more point. That through World Bank, we have also developing a tool to carry out the risk assessment of these dams. So once it is ready and people are educated, we'll be able to do the risk assessment of the 6,000 dams maybe in 6 months also. I don't know, I mean, how much workforce we are able to attract and depute for this. But once this tool is developed, and in this line, we have been having an online training, and now in the March, we are going to have a physical training on the dam site for this application of this risk assessment tool. So this approach will definitely help us to meet the targets or the mandate set by the Dam Safety Act. Next slide, please. So conclusions, I mean, dam safety, what I feel is the management requires a multitude of disciplines and skills. Adequate manpower and funds are to be pumped up in the sector. Regime requires capacity development in the new areas and new knowledge. As I said, we are very short of the technical expertise who can follow the mandate of this Dam Safety Act. A systematic, holistic approach is to be applied for the success of this dam safety management. Perpetual surveillance, it is required. And as I said, assuring dam safety is not a one-time activity. Perpetual surveillance is the key for which the institution has to play their own role. That is why we are setting up this site of centers in various reputed universities. And I agree, as all of you will agree, dams are needed for water, food, and energy security. With the application of sound principles of dam safety management, safe dams can ensure a safe future to many future generations. So this is the, I'll just conclude my presentation here. I have just given a brief overview of the documentation, the act which we had Government of India has brought in, the legislation and the mandate, and how we are trying to implement at the national level. The deficiencies in our country and the way we are working to meet out all these things so that in a very effective manner, all the dams can be made safe for everybody. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.